Morning, everybody. Welcome to the garden. Let me know if this has happened to you. This morning, John wanted to take the snowblower off the tractor and put the bucket on, and he needed an extra set of eyes to do that. So I just came out, threw whatever a coat on and came out to help him. And before I knew it, I've got a rake in my hands, we're picking up sticks, I'm cutting things back, and I haven't even gotten out of my pajamas yet. And that's a perfect segue to what's happening today. Today is going to be garden cleanup. We're going to go around and just start picking stuff up. I have a lot of projects I'd like to check off my to-do list today. I'm going to need hedge trimmers, a leaf blower, buckets, gloves, pruners of several kinds, a couple different rakes for different areas in the yard. I'm also going to need a wheelbarrow. I'm going to be picking up an awful lot of stuff. And then I'm also going to need some potting soil and some fertilizer. I've got a full day's work ahead of me. What's that all about? Hi. Hi. Oh, goodness. Hi. Hi. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Be careful. You're going to poke your eye out. Over a week ago, I made a video about raking the front yard and picking up sticks. Well, since then we've had a few windy days and more branches, twigs have fallen. If you have river birch, you know that pickup sticks is one of those games that never ends. When it comes to cleaning up the garden, I tend to do most of mine in the fall. I find that works into my schedule best. But some plants I do leave up, and therefore I need to clean them up in the spring. For example, sedums, I like to leave them up because they add a little bit of winter interest. Although not much when you have over 3 feet of snow. You don't tend to see the sedum heads because they're all buried underneath it. But if we don't get a lot of snow, it is nice to at least see some of them throughout the winter. And my theory is clean up when it works for you. If it's easier for you to do it in the spring, then do it in the spring. I find to do most of it in the fall works for me, and then just have a little bit of spring cleanup. That way I can go right into dividing plants and doing any other chores that I need to while the weather is cool, and hopefully we have some spring showers to get divided plants established before summer hits. This is a yellow ribbons arborvitae, and it was on the docket to trim it this spring because it's getting a little bit big and wide for where I wanted it. I wasn't counting on the deer and rabbits finding it this winter and totally devouring it. You can see this was our snow line, so all these branches were under the snow. You can see where the rabbits have eaten here, and then from here up is where the deer got into it. So my plan is going to be to trim this back rather hard, and my hope is that it will stimulate it to start to regenerate this area where the deer have munched on it. They've done a number on it. I think it's savable at this point, but I definitely am going to have to do something to protect it next year, because if the deer continue to come in here and eat it like this, I will definitely end up with a lollipop kind of a shrub here. So we're going to give it a try. It's sad, I just took off all the pretty yellow, but I think it looks a lot better. think I did a better trim job than the deer did, and I think if this will bounce back, I think we'll be able to save it. And like I said, in a couple years, it'll look fine again. One of the common things that people do when they trim shrubs is they trim these lower branches off and they trim them closer to the trunk. And you can see the deer obviously trim these back. But the problem with that is that when the sun is coming down, if you trim these branches in, then they can't get the sunlight that they need, so they tend to start dying at the bottom, which is why I didn't want to trim back the ones that the deer had already done, because they're trimmed back far enough. By trimming off the top, it's giving us that cone shape, so the sun will be able to reach down and get to these lower branches, and hopefully, like I said, they'll start to regenerate and put on some of that beautiful yellow growth again. But remember that when you're trimming shrubs, you don't want to have a bare bottom. You want it to be wider at the bottom than at the top. And I even do that with boxwoods. I'll show you that in just a second. I hope you can see this, how my boxwood hedge is wider at the bottom and then it comes up to the top. That ensures that these branches down here get plenty of sunlight, and that's why there's lots of green leaves all the way down to the bottom. If I were to start training it, say, as an upside down triangle where it's wider at the top and narrow at the bottom, you'd never be able to get branches to grow along the base here. So if you're having a problem with your shrubs, maybe that's the problem. Trim them so that they're wider at the bottom and narrower at the top. This narrow strip along the side of the garage is planted with summerific hibiscus and nepeta. The hibiscus dies to the ground every year, and I'm confident that I can go in at this point and cut it back. Cleaning up the nepeta is so easy. It's so brittle, I don't even need my pruners. I can just break it off. I would love to have shrubs in this area, but because the snow piles up in here from shoveling and roof raking, it makes more sense to use perennials that die back to the ground. You do have to have a little patience when you're growing hibiscus. They are very late to emerge in the spring. In fact, many people dig them out because they think they've died. They just need a little bit of heat to get going. Because of their late emergence, they make a wonderful plant to underplant with spring bulbs. As the spring bulbs bloom, fade, and the foliage dies back, the hibiscus will break dormancy and camouflage that fading foliage. Now, I normally don't fertilize. I usually put a really thick layer of leaves on top of the garden in the fall, and as they break down, they manage to fertilize the soil for me. Last year, we were busy because we had a roof put on, and it was so dry this fall that I was worried that by putting a layer of leaves on when it was so dry that the plants would not get any moisture over the winter and they would suffer. So because I don't have a thick layer of leaves on the garden now, I do have piles of leaves that I'll be spreading out later, early in the next month or so. But since there's not a heavy layer of leaves on right now, I think I'm going to go in and just chicken feed this fertilizer around the garden, and that will get to the plants, and hopefully that will help to regenerate them because they went into winter in such a droughty condition. So this is just going to give them an additional boost. So sometimes things work out. So we're just going to add a little bit of natural fertilizer and let it do its stuff. I trimmed my climbing roses today, and I didn't video it because I'm not real confident when I'm pruning roses, so I don't want to give you guys any bad habits. But I did find one of the canes was growing underneath the ground, and it looks like it has rooted a little bit. So I'm pulled it up, and I'm going to pot it up into a pot right now, and we'll see if we can get it to grow a new rose on it. Now, do I need a new rose? No, I don't need a new rose, but we'll see if we can get this to grow, and then I can give it away to somebody. Here's a close-up of the rose that I found. Now, it was growing about 3, maybe 4 feet away from the mother plant, and when I pulled it out, you can see here's the long shoot that was rooting into the ground, and there's some little hair roots on there. So I think we can pot this up and get a nice little climbing rose out of it. There we go. It's planted about the same depth that it was when I found it in the garden. It may be a little risky to go around and start uncovering some of your plants in the garden, but some plants can take a little bit of snow. These are my daffodils. And they were covered up with leaves in the fall. And this is one of my favorite things to do, is to come in and uncover them in the spring. They look a little yellow now, but they'll green up in no time flat. Now, they probably could come up through the leaves just fine, but I always enjoy uncovering them like this. After a long winter, it's just nice to see the daffodil foliage. And the reason it's yellow is because it's been covered up. If it doesn't have mulch on them, they'd be coming up a normal green. But it's just because they haven't seen any sunshine yet. But daffodils are very cold hardy, so even though we're expecting cold temperatures next week, around 18 degrees, these guys will be just fine. Well, we had a busy day in the garden. We got the gutters cleaned out, we got sticks picked up, sedum cut back, we did a whole bunch of stuff. Thank you so much for joining and following along. If you have any thoughts, please share them down in the comments. And if you can, get out into your garden and have some fun.